No problem. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We're so excited you're here. It's Amy again. I hope you're happy to see me and not disappointed. Thank you so much for your patience during this time. Alexa's still recovering, so I'm just, sort of feeling everything for her at the moment. But we are so incredibly excited to have Hannah Jacobson from Book of Word Pro. I'm a huge fan. Woo! And I'm so excited to hear about her presentation. We're going to be learning how to get legitimate book awards for our amazing books that we want to be award winning because they're amazing and they deserve to be, right? So that's why we're here. This is the amazing job that Book Award Pro does. And as you all come in, I'm going to do a short introduction of Hannah. We are so excited to have her. Hannah Jacobson is the founder of Book Award Pro, the company that leads the industry in helping authors find the perfect awards and reviews for their books. Book Award Pro is the industry expert on accolades, operating the world's largest database of legitimate awards and reviews. As the company's founder and as the Ally Awards and Story Marketing Advisor, Hannah's expertise has been recognized as the leading voice in literary accolades and author advocacy. I love it. Thank you so much for being here, Hannah. I'm really excited to hear what you have to say, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Amy. I appreciate your introduction, but also everyone here in the Women in Publishing Summit community. Thank you so much for joining us. This year, Book Award Pro has been a sponsor of the summit. I was delighted to be a speaker this year at the conference, and truly, this is one of the warmest communities I've been lucky enough to be part of. So, if you are tuning in live today, thank you so much for being here. I'll kick off my slides here in just a moment, but I want to make this webinar about you. So feel free to leave as many questions as you have in the Q&A box, and I'll be sure to leave plenty of time at the end to address all of those questions. And if you're catching this on the replay, thank you too for taking the time to kind of check in and learn about accolades for your book. If you have questions following this webinar, you can get in touch with me anytime in Book Award Pro at team, at bookawardpro.com. So while we're kind of kicking things off, Amy and I just had a conversation. And Amy, if you could just give me quick verification that you can see my screen and everything okay. Um, Amy and I were just talking about all the things that you need to do as an author. It can get really overwhelming. And with book awards, it can be difficult to know where to start, where to begin, where to go with it. So, my goal today is to kind of uncover that for you and make it accessible to find legitimate accolades for your book. So, again, my name is Hannah Jacobson, and I'm the founder of Book Award Pro. And we are absolutely honored to operate the world's largest database of legitimate reviews and awards. And at the time of this recording, that's more than 10,000 accolades in our system and counting every day. Authors all around the world, actually on 6 continents, use our services to get awards and reviews for their books. And over the years, and actually every single year, we work with thousands of authors to deliver the right awards at the right time, so you don't have to worry about going and sifting through and finding what's legitimate and what's a good fit for your book. You may also, if you haven't heard of Book Award Pro, you may be very familiar with our work because we're very proud to inform industry resources and make awards and reviews a better space for authors to be. You may also be familiar with my work at Ally, the Alliance of Independent Authors, where I'm the Awards and Story Marketing Advisor. So our goals today, let's put awards on your radar and help you understand kind of what's out there for your book, what opportunities exist, and then actually how to find those accolades. What does it take to find those and assess what's high quality for you, for your book, for your goals. And last but not least, we'll talk about creating a strategy for yourself. How can you pursue awards? How can you put that into action and make award-winning success happen for your book? And by far, the most common question we get about book awards are there awards for my book? And I can tell you over the years, monitoring more than 10,000 legitimate accolades, working with thousands of authors all around the world, no matter what you write, how you write it, when you wrote it, there are awards and reviews specific for your book. So it's not a question of if there's anything out there, it's more of what is out there for your book, what's a good fit, and how do you actually find those awards. And historically, there's not a lot of information about book awards. That's just something that authors think publishers are taking care of, or publishers think their authors are taking care of. And there hasn't been a great way to pursue awards in a really streamlined way to make sure that you get success for your book, to see what opportunities are out there. So, one major myth in book publishing is that awards just kind of happen to you or to other authors. So it's very convincing to see, say that you see one of your friends won a book award and they post on social media. It's easy to think they were kind of randomly selected for this award or identified for their talent, which could happen, but most people don't know that there's actually a process that goes into pursuing book awards, and we'll cover that more later, so you know exactly what that looks like. Also, the concept of scams. I think when we discuss scams, it makes sense to define what is a scam. At Book Award Pro, we strictly monitor scams and define them as an organization that's not upholding its promises to authors. And fortunately, while some scams do happen, there are some out there, it's relatively rare in the universe of accolades. And in fact, when we talk about scams, there's more of a question of what's the level of value that this award could bring you, and much less about actual scams, actual awards shutting down or something. And another kind of misconception about awards is that there are not very many options out there. And of course, we've already kind of talked about that there are thousands and thousands of awards out there. It's more of a question of what's a good fit for your book. If you write children's picture books, you wouldn't pursue adult fiction mystery awards, for example. There's lots and lots of options out there run by all kinds of different organizations. And it's really fascinating to see just kind of the variety of accolades that exist. Another myth that happens when it comes to book awards is that only the famous awards count. And I can absolutely tell you that, of course, it would be wonderful if you were a Pulitzer Prize winning author or if you won the National Book Award. Those are a couple of famous awards here in the United States. But it's true that your award-winning success in other awards is highly valuable. In fact, we see authors all the time win an award, maybe that you haven't heard of, but that is very niche to their subject matter and actually unlocks professional growth opportunities for them, new readership, and ultimately grows book sales. So you don't have to win a famous award for awards to actually count and do great things for your book. And last but not least, another myth about book awards is that it only matters if you win. Especially in the United States, a lot of authors think you have to win the gold medal or first place in order to share news. That's actually not the truth at all. In fact, when it comes to book awards and winning, there are not only different designations of winners, for example, winners and finalists, or silver, gold, bronze. There's all kinds of different designations, but also you don't have to win an award to start making that award work for you. So, for example, when you submit your book for consideration, there are ways that you can infuse that into your marketing to share with your readers kind of what you're up to as an author, this interesting moment that they would like to see that you've submitted your book for an award that has been nominated. That's interesting news. And that's not the highlight of today's webinar, but that concept is called story marketing. It's using these moments that you have to connect and really engage with your readers and ultimately grow book sales. And as much as it makes sense to kind of cover those book award myths, it also makes sense to celebrate the truths because there's so much power in just award-winning success, pursuing book awards in general. So awards are a very powerful source of validation. Amy and I were talking just before this and talking about how much there is to do as an author. And you know what? A little validation doesn't hurt when you're recognized for your craft, for your creativity, for your writing style, for how you made your book come together in a very professional way. Validation is very important as an author, as is social proof. Awards show readers that this has been read and loved by other readers, and they should read it too. And of course, professional authors pursue awards. Awards lend the sense of trust and credibility, which is very important to building and establishing your author brand. We touched a bit on story marketing, that book awards are one thing you can use in your story marketing to have these promotional moments, if you will. Say, for example, you submit your book for an award and you want to share that news with your audience. Readers find that kind of content very, very engaging. In fact, they want to kind of celebrate your book. They want to see what it looks like to be an author. They want to follow your journey. And that's where story marketing comes into play. So you can absolutely use book awards and reviews to fuel that story marketing and have some really easy and highly engaging content to share with your readers. So this concept of bonus benefits is something that we define at Book Award Pro. When you submit to a book award, at no extra cost, some awards will include feedback from their judges, possibly an editorial review, maybe some extra publicity. And this is really important because every bit of marketing or every bit of feedback that you can get as an author without having to pay extra for it is huge. That can be very important and helpful in your author career. So it's not surprising to see when a book award offers a bonus benefit. That's a very good thing. Of course, with awards, there are prizes to be considered, and not just cash prizes, but sometimes you may receive a promotional package, maybe some extra marketing. There are even award prizes that they ask you to teach. You may be the writer in residence for a really cool writing retreat or for a university. There's all kinds of different prizes that may be associated with different awards. And it's kind of interesting to see how creative and how impactful those prizes can be for your career. And absolutely, not last but not least, is an author brand refresh. We see authors all the time use awards to actually kind of have a launching pad, have a reason almost for a massive author brand overhaul. And you don't have to redo everything, I think the way I said that may sound overwhelming, but you may find as an award-winning author that when you have an award seal and suddenly you're an award-winning author, it's just a little bit easier to update your bios, your your website, even your book cover design to infuse this level of professionalism. It just sounds nice and readers love it. Other authors, book publishing professionals see your book in a different light when you are just presenting very professionally. So book awards are a great way to kind of refresh your author brand. So let's talk about, we kind of laid the groundwork, if you will, about what do awards look like, what are some questions and misconceptions and some truths about awards. But what does it actually look like to pursue awards? And this, tying back to earlier when I mentioned that most authors think awards happen to them, there's actually a process that you need to follow in order to find success. And we'll cover every bit of that. So first and foremost, of course, when you are pursuing awards, you want them to be completely legitimate. The first bit of advice I have for you here is to really avoid outdated generic lists. Although, historically, the book publishing industry has relied on lists in the past, it doesn't have to be that way anymore. The problem with lists is that they're generic. So, say if you write romance novels, well, you don't need to be sifting through the mystery awards and the children's picture book awards to be able to find what's a good fit for your book. And those lists, not only are they not special or customized to you, they're also outdated and not for lack of want or desire, but those lists are really hard to maintain. Awards change their requirements, their due dates, what they're looking for all the time. So it's important. Our work at Book Award Pro, we constantly monitor and track these awards, keep them updated, and every step of the book award process we support. Of course, when you're identifying legitimate awards, you want to avoid scams. This can be kind of difficult on your own. It requires a lot of time-intensive research, and then you may not have the time to handle that. Even on the starter plan at Book Award Pro, every accolade you see in our system has been completely vetted, researched, is continually researched, and you will never ever be matched to a scam. Also considering what are the best categories you should submit to. So a single award may have, if it has 10 different categories, well, which one should you submit to? Which would bring the most value to your book? There's just a lot of consideration that goes into identifying what's legitimate, what's a good fit for your book. And Book Award Pro handles all of that. We have a variety of plans to meet whatever budget you're at. And as I was mentioning before, even on the starter plan, which was previously called the free plan because there's zero cost, Book Award Pro consistently monitors and researches every award in our system. So you never have to worry about being unsafe. You will only be matched to legitimate, valuable awards. And if you stay tuned to the end of this webinar, we actually have a special offer for Women in Publishing Summit attendees. As part of being a sponsor for this year's conference, you can get some free service, have researched legitimate awards for your book, and also see what's the most valuable fit for your book to submit to. And we also want to talk about quality. What is considered a high value award for your book? And this will depend on you, your unique goals, your genre, how you like to write, what you want to support. This is subjective for every author. So, if you write nonfiction, business, motivational books, your goals, what you perceive as high value may be very different from what a children's picture book author may want in their awards. So first and foremost, when you're looking at an award, as long as first and foremost you make sure it's legitimate, then start assessing, is this a good value for me? Does it align with my goals? You may see, for example, there are some awards that are structured as nonprofit organizations, and they take all of their proceeds and donate it either to a charity of your choice or to a charity that they've kind of designed their structure around. For example, there's one award I'm thinking of that actually donates all of their proceeds to help homeless women and children. And they are able to kind of leverage their award platform to bring awareness to these groups. And also authors really enjoy submitting to that award because they feel that their contribution to a cause is really important to them. Of course, there's all kinds of different goals and missions out there. That's just one example. Go with what you align with best. Of course, assessing entry fee. What does that look like? Because there's all kinds of entry fees out there. The range, actually, I just queried our database today, and the average award entry fee for a book award is $89. And for our international audience, that's 89 US dollars. But the range is vast. There are awards that have no cost to enter at all, and there are awards that cost more than $500 to submit to. And I'll tell you, even the Pulitzer Prize, the National Book Award, even famous awards also charge an entry fee. So when it comes to paying this professional fee for a book assessment, don't ever feel like you need to spend beyond your budget. Look at what would you possibly get for this entry fee. Could you possibly become award winning? Are there some bonus benefits? Do you get some extra marketing that you wouldn't have to do otherwise? What else? Look at the value of being a winner and kind of compare that against what is being charged as the entry fee. And if for any reason at all that doesn't align with your goals or you just don't like it, there are so many other awards out there. Remember, there are thousands. Never feel pressured to submit to an opportunity you don't like for any reason. Assess your value and definitely pursue the accolades you feel like you align with the most. Another question we see from authors is, when do I start in all of this process? Where do I start? When do I begin? And the sweet spot in an ideal world where everything is, going along nicely in book publishing, in an ideal world, if you start pursuing awards 3 months prior to publication, that's the ideal sweet spot because about 3 months prior to publication, your book starts to feel like an actual book. It may be an advanced copy, so maybe there's just a very light touch of editing that needs to be completed, or you're just finishing off the polished edges on your book cover design. But by and large, your book feels like a book. It's about 80 to 90% complete. That's a great time to start submitting to awards because in this 3 month window, if you play your cards right, if you really strategize this, then you're able to start submitting to awards, get feedback back from judges, maybe even get award-winning results before your book launch. So we see authors all the time actually pursue awards prior to their publication date, get award-winning news, and before their book is fully published, actually able to add the award seal to their book cover, add award-winning novelists to their bio, just essentially build award-winning into your launch and beyond. But of course, not everything goes according to plan, especially in book publishing. Such is life. As soon as possible is really the best time to start pursuing awards. So of course you can pursue prior to publication, but it's also true that it's better late than never. So even books that have published more than 10 years ago, there are opportunities for your book. It's more of a matter of finding what's out there for you, and Book Award Pro handles all of that. So just know whenever you publish, ideally 3 months prior, start pursuing awards. If you've missed that for any reason because of life, then just know it's never too late to start pursuing awards and actually building that into your plan. So let's talk about what it actually looks like to have an award strategy and move forward with that. So no matter what point you're pursuing this in your book publishing process, whether you haven't published yet, you're thinking about publishing, or you published many years ago, this is the strategy that you need to actually move forward with awards. So first and foremost, you want to see what options are out there for your book. Of course, you can do that research independently, or you can use a tool like Book Award Pro just to see even what options are out there for you. And our system works in such a way that you add your book to our system. Our system will actually detect what your book is about, so it will assign keywords, it will understand your publication date. You can also tweak your profile at any time and kind of tell us this is more of a romance novel than a mystery novel. There's all kinds of different ways to really refine your profile in our system. You can always ask us if you have questions. But first and foremost, see what award options are out there and make sure that it's specific to your book. You shouldn't have to sort through giant lists of unrelevant awards. Second step in all of this process is to prepare your actual nomination. And this comes down to, what do you need to submit to book awards? So depending on how you like to submit, we always recommend a digital submission strategy. So I'll share more information on that. But you need book copies. So typically a PDF book copy. You need to know what your publication date is, your book description, some of that metadata that you may or may not keep at the ready. If you use Book Award Pro, it's very easy to find that in your profile. Um, when you are actually setting things aside, okay, so you need your PDF book copy, author bio, book description, things like your book cover in high resolution as possible, your author photo, kind of preparing all of these materials ahead of time will save you kind of time and headache later. And also knowing how to present your materials to the judging panel, to the award entity itself, belongs in this prepare your nomination section. So for example, at Book Award Pro, if we are performing a submission for you, we actually create we call it a nomination letter that is sent. It's a professional kind of introduction to the judges, to the award organization about your book, and we'll also submit your book copy and all the other materials that they're requesting. But if you're doing that on your own, you may consider preparing your nomination letter and your nomination materials ahead of time to save some time and headache later. Next up is actually managing the requirements of an award. So at this point, you've seen what options are out there. You've prepared all your deliverables, all the things that you will share with the award organization. Now it's time to figure out what to submit to, when to submit to it, and also managing requirements like, does your publication date fit this award? Are they looking, does your copyright date fit? Does your page count, your word count? Look at all the criteria on their website, really research that, and make sure that your book is a good fit for that award. And again, with Book Award Pro, we handle all of that for you, so you don't have to worry about that. Next step, of course, is performing submission. And if this sounds a little bit silly, I will actually repeat that again. The next step is performing submission because it's so easy in day-to-day life to kind of get up to the plate and miss your swing, so to speak. It's hard. It can be hard to track deadlines and know when to submit your book, and it's easy to lose track of that. But remember, if you don't put your book forward for consideration, it can never become award winning. So once you've done all of this work to identify what awards are out there, how do you submit to it, actually getting your book into the award is super, super important. And absolutely last but not least is tracking your results. Once you submit your book to an award program, you always want to know, where do you stand? What was the final outcome of this award? Typically, awards will share, they'll kind of share an anticipated timeline of when they expect to announce finalists, winners. If there's any kind of judging delay, they typically communicate that. If you don't know for sure, you can always reach out directly to the award organizer to find out. Again, at Book Award Pro, if we are performing the submission for you, we will always automatically track that and monitor your submission to completion. And if you're using Book Award Pro to kind of monitor your own results, also in your research side panel, you'll be able to see when is the expected announcement date, and you can kind of keep track of your submissions that way. So in performing thousands of submissions every year and working with authors all around the world, we have seen lots and lots of judging feedback and things that awards would like to see, and also things that will kind of help you maximize your time and make the most of your award-winning journey. So it's really important to begin this process early, and not only just as soon as possible in your publishing journey, but also just once you're interested in awards, kind of tune in, lock in, pay attention to what awards are coming up. So for example, if there's an award or the deadline is maybe in 3 months, 3 months away. Well, that sounds like a long time, but 3 months will creep up on you. So As soon as you see an enticing award, if you've seen that it's a good fit for you, it's high value, it's legitimate, go ahead and start your entry as soon as possible. That way you can actually be sure that you have that you've collected all the information you need ahead of time, and you actually get your book into the hands of the judges for consideration. Staying organized will save you lots and lots of headaches later. If you like to track things manually, of course, you can use a spreadsheet, or even with Book Award Pro, even on the starter plan, you'll be able to track the progress of your awards. We call it it's called a status, directly within your account. So when you submit for an award, you can mark it as submitted within your account, and you'll be able to, every time you log in, see that you submitted for that award and just kind of check in, see what the progress is on that. Stay organized, know what you've submitted to, and just kind of keep tabs on things. Of course, that kind of ties into monitoring your every submission through completion, just so you know, did you get results? What were the results? That's really, really important. And of course, let tools do the heavy lifting. You don't have to do all of this by yourself. And I'd like to cover just some of those, some of the extra nuance that we've heard from judges, from authors, from seeing so many submissions over time. Editing is such a huge factor for, especially for award judges. Keep in mind when you are submitting to book awards, award judges are readers, they're book industry professionals. They're expecting polished professional books. And of course, like I said, maybe an advanced copy could use a little bit of extra work, but by and large, your book should feel like a professional, completed book. So make sure that your book has been professionally edited, and your book will go so much further in an award competition. And the same is true of cover design. We've seen feedback from judges. They may even share privately that they have awarded an author for their excellent writing, for their the creativity. The book was just so good, but privately they may share the feedback that the book cover design didn't resonate with their judging panel, and they would highly recommend seeking a professional cover designer to just kind of get things in professional shape. So really do pay attention to editing and cover design, and consider hiring a professional for those aspects of your book, because they're so important to readers, to judges. Also keep in mind professionalism. Every time that you're interacting with an award organization, whether that's email, phone, just submitting your application in a full, complete way, make sure that every touch point you have with that award organization is very professional. You never know who sees your application, and professionalism it can be a boon, not only for your author career, but just to make valuable connections and present your book in as polished and professional a way as possible. Also, be sure to budget for award entry fees. I know I mentioned earlier the average entry fee is $89, but the range is anywhere from 0 to upwards of 500. Don't be afraid to set a budget for how much you'd like to spend on entry fees, and stick to it. And if you see an opportunity that comes up that's too expensive or would stretch your budget too much, go ahead and pass on that opportunity. I promise there will always be something else right around the corner. And of course, stay on top of award deadlines. It can be really heartbreaking to kind of have your heart set on an award organization that you really resonate with, and then miss their deadline, and maybe your book isn't an eligible fit for the next round. So staying on top of deadlines will just ensure that you are able to get your book into the award on time, and yeah. So I know that's a lot of information. We've covered all kinds of stuff today about the specifics of how awards work, how you can actually create a strategy for yourself, how to identify legitimate awards. Let's boil it down just to 3 really, really main components here. First, you want to find legitimate options for your book. look for awards that are a good fit, that are high value, that are legitimate. Then you want to streamline your process. When you're actually moving through the awards process and pursuing them, make it as easy for yourself as possible. Stay organized, stay on top of deadlines. Don't worry about stretching your budget too thin. Just pursue the opportunities that you feel a strong fit with and streamline it as much as possible. And last but not least, whether you are pursuing the award winning process or you've received some award winning news, don't be afraid to build all of this award news into your book marketing. It's a whole separate conversation, but the power of awards is very, very valuable, especially when you're using them to connect with readers, to build professionalism for your book, to make new connections. Awards are a fabulous way to establish your author brand and continue to grow your books. So again, my name is Hannah Jacobson and I'm the founder of Book Award Pro. And today we are actually, so Book Award Pro is a sponsor of the Women in Publishing Summit, and we're giving you a free month of Plus service on our platform. So you can go to this link, womeninpublishingsummit.com/bookawardpro, and you'll be able to see what sign up looks like. But essentially, you will share your book to our platform. We will identify relevant options for your book, and also on the Plus plan, the most valuable award and review for your book. And from that information, you will be able to know this is the award, this is the review I should submit to this month for maximum impact. And of course, we would love to hear from you anytime. So if you ever have questions, you can always email us at team, at bookawardpro.com, and connect with us on social. Keep us in the loop about your award-winning journey. Let us share your news and let us celebrate with you. So Amy, I will bring you on here too. We're about to get to the Q&A part of the session, and thank you all again for joining us.
Thank you so much, Hannah. That was incredible. You answered a lot of my questions too as you were going through, and other questions coming in, and you were answering them. So we do have a handful of questions for you. Some things you may have already covered, but I think I'm going to ask you again, just so you can clarify some things, because you know how those tiny little details creep up when we're trying to figure things out.
For sure.
So one of the questions, you just talked about how you want to share your wins basically with your audience as like a marketing campaign. Are there other things you can do to use the award to sort of to utilize it or monetize it? Or can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, and thank you again. Feel free to ask all the questions you guys like. Let's make the session about you. There's so many ways that you can use awards, and this kind of ties back to what are your goals as an author? What are your goals as a professional? So, for example, I'll kind of give you a quick list of ways that you might use your award. So, not only on your book cover, you may put your award seal on your book cover. You may change your kind of byline to award-winning author or award-winning novelist. And that can also apply to other books. Say that you, Amy, you just said that you published multiple books. And when you become an award-winning author, you can actually go back and update your previous book descriptions, your previous author bios, update your website, share the news with any kind of membership organizations you're part of, any kind of groups that you're part of in your community. Authors typically find that it's almost surprising the kind of support that they get from readers, kind of from your everyday connections, because award-winning news is really special, and it can feel intimidating to share that, but when you do, don't be surprised, you may actually get kind of an outpouring of support with that. We also see authors use awards to leverage speaking engagements. Award winning always looks really good in a speaker bio. And anyway, there's lots and lots of ways you can do that. I hope that answers your question, but please let me know if you have any follow-up questions for that.
That was a great question. The speaker part surprised me. So that's really interesting to me. Okay, so these entry fees can be really annoying, especially if you're an indie author. You can't always afford every little fee that comes along. And someone was asking if it's possible to find awards that don't require entry fees. Are they out there? Is that possible?
Yes, Absolutely. So speaking from the Book Award Pro platform perspective, once you have an account, you'll be able to see what matches come up for your book on an ongoing basis because awards change all the time. They open, they close, they change their requirements. So you'll always be able to see what's an eligible fit, and you'll be able to see what the entry fee is at a glance. So you'll be able to tell this is a good fit for me, or that's over budget for me. I don't want to pursue that. Wait around, see what awards that come up that have no entry fee. Um, I, 98, I just queried this actually yesterday. 98% of awards charge some kind of entry fee, whether that's very modest or average or above average. There's typically some fee involved, but not always. So keep your eyes open. Those opportunities do exist.
That's awesome. Good to know. Okay. Joanne is asking about the Kirkus review. It's a very popular review to go after. We're suggested, as in the authors, definitely go after that. She's asking, is it potential for that review to be skewed? She's under the impression that she's kind of on the fence as to whether it's a must or not. If you have any opinions about the Kirkus review, I guess share them.
Yeah, sure. And thank you. And I'll try to address your question. If I don't quite hit the mark, feel free to ask me again. But when it comes to Kirkus or any other review or any other award, you should never feel pressured to pursue them. So a benefit of something like Kirkus is an editorial review. And that style of review serves your book in a different way than, say, like an Amazon customer review does. We call that a consumer review in the book industry. So specifically for your book, unfortunately, I can't answer that. That's a matter of taste, a matter of preference. If you decide that it's too expensive to pursue, or that you're just not sure for your book, it's okay. There's not one award or one review that will make or break your book. Kind of tying back to that concept of it doesn't have to be famous for it to count. There are other opportunities you could choose to pursue. I hope that's helpful, but please let me know if you have other follow-up questions.
Perfect. Jill is asking, I'm finding legitimate awards from a metaphysical book that is due out in January 2025, but tracking all the different timelines for submission is a challenge. Does Book Report offer the service to help with the scheduling of tracking things and knowing when to submit?
Jill, that's a fabulous question, and congratulations on starting the award, like pursuing your awards so early in the process. That's great. Yes, Book Award Pro will work for any publication dates. So you can simply tell us about your book, and you will see only accolades that are open right now and relevant to your book. So, for example, today you won't see something that's due 2 years from now, or that your book isn't eligible for until 2 years from now. You'll see what's a good fit for you right now that's currently open that you can actually submit to.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Next question. So this is a really important one, I think, is are you more likely to receive the award if you're traditionally published? Are you just as likely if you're self-published?
I love this question. That you guys ask fabulous questions. You know what? No, you are not more likely to win an award if you're traditionally published. I will tell you that award judges, no matter how you decided to publish your book, what matters most is story, and also how professionally done is this book. And that doesn't mean spending a lot of money necessarily, but it does mean giving a very professional presentation of yourself and your book always. So there are traditionally published books that aren't as professional, and they are less likely to win an award than a self-published book that presents very, very professionally. And in fact, there are awards specifically for independent and self-published books. So there are specific award programs that highlight those voices. And also, as time goes on, the book publishing industry is finally kind of starting to notice that it doesn't matter how you publish that determines the quality of your book. It's about the book itself. So I hope that answers your question. Let me know if you have any follow-ups.
On that status of like winning awards and best-selling, and someone did ask in the chat if when you get an award from Amazon for being an international best-selling author, are you an award-winning author? Can you call yourself an award-winning author if you receive that distinction?
Interestingly, best selling is not the same as award winning. So those are two different distinctions. Not to throw you off, but Amazon actually has multiple award programs, all of which we track in our system, and you could be matched to those if they're a good fit for your book.
Great. Okay. I want to make sure we get to this one because this is a question about scams. I think someone's not sure about something that happened in the award process. They
Yeah.
said they submitted an application to BookFest Awards. They won second and third place. But when they became suspicious because they received a PDF certificate and then there were significant fees to receive it framed or to get a plaque. Is that considered an award scam? Is that a legitimate award?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. And it's not, um, that wouldn't be a scam to, okay, let me take a step back. Producing physical goods like a physical medal or a physical plaque requires some money and expenditure for shipments. So that may be why the award is asking, uh, giving the option for payment for those goods, but it's actually a good sign that they provided you the certificate in a digital format. So you actually don't have to go through them to buy it framed. You could actually take that to a place in town and have that framed yourself and kind of have that you have that option. What would actually be a red flag for a scam would be maybe you have to maybe you have to pay in order to be award winning. That would be much more suspicious. And if you ever have questions, feel free. You can always email us directly at team at bookawardpro.com, and we can look more into that. I hope that's
Awesome.
helpful. Let me know if you have follow-up questions. Oh, no, you're great, Amy. Sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to put that email in the chat again
Okay.
because I put it in earlier, but it got bumped up in case everybody wants to copy and paste that. Make sure they have it if they have questions. I've gotten a couple of questions about the book cover. I know you covered that in the talk about how it's a better draw if the book cover is professional and really nice and in line with your genre and everything. But people are saying, well, if I'm starting 3 months prior to publication and I don't have a cover yet, can I use a stand-in cover or something, you know?
We have seen authors do that. If you everyone's publishing journey doesn't look exactly the same. So if you've decided not to do a book cover design and you're about 3 months out from publication, if you can do a stand-in cover, make sure that it's as professional as possible. Um, I will say that having a professional cover looks really good. Readers are expecting a book cover, judges are expecting a book cover. Your It depends. So I don't actually like that answer of it depends. But if you have questions, you can always kind of again ask our team. It may be depending on what shape your manuscript is in. If you need quite a bit more editing to do, it may be better just to hold for a couple of months until you feel that it's a more professional, polished product. Um, to more succinctly answer all of that, if you do feel like your book is pretty much complete, it's in a good state, you just don't have a book cover design, um, look for awards where maybe you don't have to submit the book cover as part of your entry. That could also be a consideration.
That's a great answer. And I think there's like a little bit of an addendum to that question as well, as far as children's books. Like if you're going to have illustrations done for the children's book later on, should you submit it without the illustrations? Should you wait?
For a children's picture book, the judges are really, really looking for kind of that completed. It's part of that book experience. I would recommend holding until you have those illustrations, until your book feels about 80 to 90% complete. And
Great.
much
Okay, the questions. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, no, no. These are fabulous questions,
Yeah.
by the way, everyone. Thank you. I would say that if you can, don't let that 3 months prior to publication worry you too much. If you start pursuing awards after you publish, it's okay. It will be okay, I promise. That's just kind of the sweet spot. If all the stars
Right.
align and things work out for you and you have a book that's about 80-90% complete a few months prior to publication, go for it, but don't let that stress you out.
I'm just saying they are pouring in. The questions are pouring in now. Okay, so I think there's a couple of questions about the offer. Can you use the free month offer if you are already a member?
So it's intended for new Book Award Pro clients. If you have another book that you've published, go ahead and email us and we can help kind of configure your account. And if anyone else has questions about that offer, go ahead and email us. We'll look at your account and help get you sorted. That's team@bookawardpro.com.
And then what is the deadline for it?
So you know what? That's valid through the end of this year. But we support the Women in Publishing Summit community, so we can work with Alexa to see what that looks like. At the time of this recording, that offer is valid through the end of 2024.
Okay, perfect. I think I got through all the questions about about the offer. Okay, so going back, if you want to talk about a little bit about how you work with the website, how do you find the progress of your submissions, um, how do you submit? If you just want to give a little rundown about those important elements,
For
we can cover
sure.
some.
So we really pride ourselves in transparency. So our pricing and our plans are always available directly on the website. And Book Award Pro, it's a technology platform. So what you do, kind of what it looks like to join, is you create an account, tell us a little bit about your book, and whether that's you give us your ISBN or your book copy, and we store that completely safely and only use it for Book Award Pro, or if we submit to an award that you request. We'll perform that submission for you and share that book copy with your judges. But anyway, when you sign up, you'll create an account, tell us about your book, and just in a few moments, you'll see your first award and review matches. And ongoing, you will continue to see, because again, awards and reviews change all the time. You will see awards and reviews that are currently open that you can currently submit to that are a good fit for your book. So that's just part of your Book Award Pro account. And then depending on what plan you have, um, Book Award Pro will perform submissions for you, and you will be able to see all of that within your dashboard, within your account. And of course, we really love hearing from our authors, so you can always email support and ask us if you have questions anytime.
Wonderful. I have so many questions about specific awards coming in. Are there awards for Asian women who write novels, historical fiction and fantasy?
Off the top of my head, I can't name an award that's that specific, but those kinds of awards absolutely exist. And it's really interesting, especially looking at your kind of goals and your mission as an author. If that's a way that you would like to be honored, absolutely pursue those accolades when you see them. And also from a marketing aspect, when you are sharing that journey with your readers, that's a beautiful way to kind of share that that's important to you, that being recognized like that is really important. So I hope that answers your question. Let me know if you, within your Book Award Pro account, you can actually share kind of things about like your residence, your citizenship, like what country are you from, and completing your profile as completely as possible will give you more specific matches for your book.
Perfect. Are there seasons for awards for various genres?
Are there seasons for award? I've heard of the concept of award season, and that kind of typically comes in when you're talking about movies or television. But when it comes to book awards, they're actually opening and closing all the time. So it's not strict like spring or autumn is the best time to submit a book. Awards are open and closing all the time. So you can pursue accolades year round.
I have some questions about what the judges do when they're judging. So, do they read all the books that they're judging? Do they, I just, do they skim them? Like, well, how does that work?
Yeah, you know what? This will depend on the award itself. And I can even tell you that the National Book Award will even stipulate exactly how they move through the judging process. And depending on the number of books that are read, at least for National Book Award, National Book Foundation, they actually do a short review or a short preview of each book. They don't fully read the entire book until they get on to later stages of the judging process. That's just one award. That's just one example. So if you have questions, be sure to look at the award website and also just ask the award organizer. They're typically more than happy to share exactly what that looks like, how the judging process works, and that will be unique to each accolade.
Awesome. I'm just answering some questions.
Oh, no, that's great. These are great questions too, everybody. Thank you.
So, more specifically, so when you get that dud review, you get that 2-star review, does that hurt you? Can you help? Can you work with that?
You know what? We actually just published an article on our blog. I'll go see if I can find that. But when you get a negative review, that doesn't have to be a bad thing for your book. First and foremost, not only can you grow from that, possibly, not only can you grow from that, in some ways, having a mix of some negative reviews and some positive reviews is kind of the way of the world. And actually, you come across as a more trustworthy author by having that mix. So don't get too down on yourself if you get a negative review. I'll go find that blog post and put it here in the chat. But it's on the Book Award Pro blog, and a negative review doesn't have to hurt you.
Because yeah, they happen.
They do,
It
and
does
it's part
count against you.
part of part of authorship. Okay, this is called "What Can You Do with a Negative Book Review?" There we go. I just put that in the chat. I hope that's a helpful resource for you, and of course, let us know if you have other questions.
In my experience, just really quick too, like sometimes even negative book reviews have little gems in them of positive things, and you can just like pull those out. I do that sometimes. So that's just
Yes.
my little.
No, you know what, Amy, you brought up a really valid point. You could get, so there are different kinds of reviews, and we kind of talked briefly about editorial reviews and consumer reviews, or something like Amazon reviews, and say that you got 2 stars in either one. To your point, you can absolutely, there's usually still some kind of silver lining that you can use for your book, whether you grow from it or there was actually something positive that was said about your book, even in an editorial review. They typically take this objective viewpoint and cover the negatives and the positives. So you should be able to kind of grow from that and use that for yourself.
Just want to make sure we get through these. Let's see. So someone is talking about doing it early, the 3-month plan. They said they need to get line editing and the cover design and the feedback for beta readers within the next month. When does she start looking for awards?
Um, could you repeat to me again what was the first part of that?
Line edit and cover design, and then beta reader feedback.
You know what? I would wait. Just wait till your book feels a little bit more complete. Truth be told, you could put your book forward for award consideration right now. There are awards that will accept your book as a kind of an uncompleted manuscript. Those absolutely exist. The reason we recommend 3 months prior or when your book feels about 90% complete is that by that point, when you're submitting your book to an award in that condition, your award-winning success, your chances of award-winning success are so much greater only because it's being compared against other books that are kind of professionally finished, if that makes sense.
No, that's a great answer. I think that covers a lot. I think if we're thinking about timelines and stuff like that. Okay, so two really interesting questions I wanted to save to the end because they're very different, but they may have very interesting answers. Um, Elizabeth said her biography has won several awards, and most of them are holding galas to honor the winner. Is that a common thing?
Oh, congratulations, Elizabeth. That's beautiful. Yes, it always depends on the award, but that's not uncommon for an award. And if you want to go to all of those, you absolutely should. If it feels like a stretch to your budget, if you're having to buy plane tickets and do that kind of thing, don't worry about that so much. But even just having the opportunity to be invited to that is really, really, that's wonderful. There's also, especially after COVID, there have been more options for authors to attend virtually. So if, attending these galas in person kind of stretches your budget too thin, consider asking if they have a virtual option because you'll often be able to make kind of remarks to the audience over Zoom, and it's a really, really cool experience.
That's so cool. I would
Congratulations.
love to go to an award gala for my
I
book,
love them.
for sure. Okay, Hannah, does Book Award Pro have an affiliate program? I know a lot of our clients are in the publishing industry, and I don't know if they should email you and ask you about that.
Yes, we actually do have an affiliate program. You can simply sign up for a Book Award Pro account, and you'll see it's called, I think, Refer Other Authors, and that's where you'll find your unique affiliate link. Then you'll get $20 for every new kind of paid uh, for a first purchase that someone makes.
Perfect. Okay, one just snuck in at the end. Does Book Award Pro notify an author if they're a runner-up or a winner of an award?
Yes, if we perform the submission on your behalf, so if you are on the pro plan or if you wanted us to do a submit boost, Book Award Pro monitors that submission all the way through completion. So when the award announces results, we get those results back, we make sure that's complete for you, and then we share it back to you so that you know you actually had award-winning success.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for answering all of these questions. And make sure if you have any more questions to email Hannah at team@bookawardpro.com. And then I'll make sure I get that offer link again, which is womeninpublishingsummit.com/Book Award Pro. I'm putting it in the chat one more time. Make sure you use that link to get the offer. And thank you again so much. I can tell everyone loved you. You're getting lots of emojis and happiness from everyone in the chat. So thanks again so much for coming.
Thank you so much, everyone who is here live and everyone who's watching this on the replay, that you took the time out of your day to learn more about accolades, learn how they can serve your book. No matter where you are, that's a wonderful trait to have as an author. You're a business owner. There's a lot to take care of. Good luck. Let us know if you have questions anytime, and it would be an honor to support you in your journey.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Hannah. Thanks everyone for coming, and we'll see you soon. Bye.